Some lessons don't come from failure. They come from watching someone succeed in a way you never expected. Jonah had spent nearly every morning of his life chasing fish across the open sea. At 28, he was known as the hardest working fisherman in his village. While others were still asleep, Jonah's boat was already cutting through the dark water. He returned only after sunset, his hands blistered, his back aching, and his face burned by the relentless sun. Yet no matter how hard he worked, he barely earned enough to keep his family afloat. Just a few docks away was an old fisherman named Elias. He was nearly 70. His wooden boat was older than most of the younger fishermen. He never hurried. He left after sunrise. He returned before noon, and somehow, his boat was always overflowing with fish. The younger fishermen couldn't understand it. "There must be something he's hiding," one of them muttered. Jonah wanted to believe that too, because the alternative was harder to accept. What if hard work wasn't enough? One evening, Jonah finally approached the old man. "How do you do it?" he asked. Elias smiled as he untangled his fishing net. "Do what?" "Catch more fish while spending half the time at sea." The old man chuckled. "The sea doesn't reward the man who stays the longest." He picked up a small shell from the dock and tossed it into the water. "It rewards the man who understands it." Jonah frowned. That answer only left him with more questions. The next morning, before dawn, Jonah quietly pushed his boat into the water. But instead of heading toward his usual fishing grounds, he stayed far enough behind to follow Elias without being noticed. For nearly an hour, the old fisherman didn't cast his net. He simply watched. He studied the waves. He looked at the direction of the wind. He watched birds circling high above the water. Several times he changed course without throwing his net even once. Jonah shook his head. "What a waste of time," he whispered. Unable to wait any longer, Jonah rowed ahead. He reached a familiar spot and immediately cast his net. Once, twice, 5 times, 10. The catches were disappointing. By late morning, his boat held only a handful of fish. As he headed back toward shore, he spotted Elias. The old man had stopped near a stretch of calm water that Jonah had passed without a second glance. With one smooth motion, Elias cast his net. Minutes later, he pulled it back, overflowing with fish. Jonah couldn't believe his eyes. When they returned to the village, he swallowed his pride. "I followed you." "I know," Elias replied with a smile. "You knew? You weren't as quiet as you thought." Jonah laughed awkwardly. "I still don't understand." The old fisherman sat on the edge of the dock. "When I was your age, I believed the answer was stronger arms." He looked out across the water. "So I rowed farther than anyone. I stayed out longer than anyone. I threw my net more times than anyone." He paused. "And I caught less than the men who understood where the fish wanted to be." Jonah listened carefully. "The birds tell you where small fish gather. The wind changes the current. The current changes the water temperature. And the fish follow the food. The sea gives clues every single day. You've been working against the sea. I've been working with it." For the first time, Jonah realized something painful. He knew how to work, but he had never truly learned how to observe. Over the following weeks, everything changed. Instead of racing toward the deepest water, Jonah slowed down. He learned to read the movement of birds. He noticed how floating seaweed drifted with the currents. He watched the color of the water change with the tides. Some mornings, he spent nearly an hour studying before casting his first net. The younger fisherman laughed. "Looks like Jonah has gotten lazy." He simply smiled, because for the first time in years he wasn't exhausted before midday. Then came the biggest fishing competition the village had ever held. Dozens of boats rushed out before sunrise, each captain eager to catch the largest haul. Jonah didn't join the race. He stayed near the harbor, quietly watching. Some shook their heads. Others laughed as they sped past him. Only after the tide shifted did Jonah steer toward a narrow stretch of water where seabirds suddenly began diving in large numbers. He cast his net once, then again. By noon, his boat was so full he could barely row back. When the judges weighed the catch, Jonah had won by a wide margin. The same fishermen who had mocked him gathered around in disbelief. One asked, "How did you catch so much?" Jonah looked toward the old man, standing silently at the end of the dock. Then he smiled. "I stopped trying to beat the sea. I started learning from it." Years later, when young fishermen came asking for his secret, Jonah never told them to work less. He simply pointed toward the waves. The hardest worker isn't always the most successful. The one who pays attention often is. Because effort will take you far, but wisdom decides whether you're moving in the right direction. What lesson did you learn from this story? Share your thoughts in the comments.
If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more inspirational stories every week. Leave a comment below and share this video with someone who needs this message. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.